Hi, I'm Lena, and today I want to talk about Lilith in the first house. So, what is Lilith in astrology? Lilith in astrology is the embodiment of divine feminine energy. When it comes to Lilith energy, her energy is very raw, it's very primal, very instinctive, sexual, passionate energy. Lilith represents our more shadow side, especially the shadow side of the divine feminine and divine feminine expression. So, looking at the sign and house that Lilith is in, you can get a better idea, of how her energy is expressed within your chart. So, today I'm starting with Lilith in the first house, and I will be making it a series, and I'll also be doing Lilith through the signs. But as of right now, this will be a general interpretation of what it's like and what you can expect from, people that have Lilith in their first house, or if you have it, hopefully you can relate to this video. So, the first house in astrology is the house of self, our identity, the way that we come off to people, how the world sees us, our basic characteristics and things like that. So when you put Lilith in someone's first house, you're going to get someone that is very magnetic and alluring. The energy of this person can come off rather sexual, whether they intend for it to or not. The way that these people dress, it might be a bit on like the sexier side. Even if they're trying to down dress, there's just something about them that, really stands out, and it can make people aroused in some way. That's like the best way that I can put it. You can get very extreme reactions from others when you have Lilith in your first house. So it can be like a day where you feel kind of bleh, and you'll have like 7 people ask for your phone number in one day, or you'll end up getting like hit on a lot or something like that. That is very common for people with Lilith in their first house. In my opinion, personally, I've noticed it with Lilith and fire signs in the first, and Lilith and water signs in the first seem to get extreme reactions. I've noticed that the earth signs seem to be a bit more grounded, so it's not that they don't get as much attention, but the attention that they do get, it can come off a bit more, not to sound like I'm dissing the fire or water signs, but a bit more respectful. So they can find themselves being courted by a lot of people trying to like charm them or try to gain their attention. These are people that they'll attract others that kind of jump through hoops for their attention. That's the same thing with Lilith and air signs, because they need to be intellectually stimulated, and for some reason people kind of pick up on that, so they're constantly trying to make small talk or have conversations with them, even if it seems a bit forced. There's usually a very sexual undertone to the energy, but I've noticed that Lilith and air sign people in their first house, a lot of the time they'll end up attracting people that just gravitate towards them for intellectual stimulation, or try to give that to them in some way. Personally, I've noticed with water Lilith in the first and fire Lilith in the first, the way that people address them can be a bit more aggressive and direct. A lot of that is due to, again, fire energy is really passionate, as you know, and you can kind of pull that out of people. And then water energy is very emotional, and since Lilith represents more repressed energies, a lot of the time stuff that's kind of brewing underneath the surface kind of comes up to the forefront whenever people interact with these people. So if it's a lot of sexual energy beneath the surface, it's like the Lilith person will just suck that out of them, especially water Lilith people. So they can oftentimes, I think all the elements can agree, they'll find themselves in a bit of uncomfortable situations, but in my personal perspective, I've noticed more so water and fire Liliths dealing with that. Lilith is very powerful energy. Your energy kind of makes itself known before you really make yourself known. So even if you're the quietest person in the room, if you have Lilith in your first house, you're going to notice that there's automatically a lot of attention on you. And a lot of the time this can manifest as people projecting their assumptions of you to others around you, and people kind of try to like manifest this idea of you before they really get to know you based on your appearance and your energy. So your energy can actually come off rather arrogant. Some people can consider this energy a bit egotistical or cocky in a way. And it's funny because, you know, a lot of Lilith people, they have dealt with a lot of, you know, repression, a lot of bullying, a lot of hate and shaming for their bodies and their image, likely from family members or friends. They could have been bullied a lot growing up, so they may not have that level of self-confidence that other people expect them to have. And even if they do, they usually don't go around flaunting it just because they don't really have to. It's just kind of there. But aside from that, it might not be really comfortable, especially in like early life, like late teens, early 20s, maybe even 30s or 40s. Sometimes it's really hard to be more, you know, comfortable with that sexuality. You can be targets for like a lot of slander, a lot of gossip, and, you know, just a lot of unnecessary BS that people can project towards you. A lot of the times you can be the center of a lot of scandals, sometimes stuff you don't even realize that you're involved in. I've noticed that Lilith first house people, everyone kind of wants to be in your business, and even if they're not directly telling you that, there's usually a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that you're not really aware of. So lots of rumors spread, lots of slander, and just unnecessary drama is actually really common with Lilith first house people, I've noticed. So also these people, when they learn to embody their sexuality on a spiritual level, and they work to integrate these things in like a healthy way, the energy they'll start to attract, as opposed to it being overly aggressive and sexual. Not saying that that'll ever go away, but I am saying that it can get toned down a bit, because the people that you'll attract and the things that you can attract when you own that energy, you can benefit a lot from it. I'm trying to like figure out my life here. Okay, so you can actually Jesus Christ, oh my god, help. Okay, you can benefit a lot from owning your Lilith power. So given the fact that you're such an alluring person, these people do really great in leadership places, because you may notice that these people on like a subconscious level are very charismatic, so they have the ability to like sway the perception of a room just by, you know, speaking about something that they believe in, or they can make a rather large impact on the world just by existing. So if you can gain that much attention and that much focus on you, you may as well use it to, you know, your benefit. So a lot of the times, like for example, people with Lilith in their first house, although yes, they may be targets for like slander and attacks, they can be so magnetic and, you know, so charming and so incredibly undeniably sexy that these people, you know, they start to attract like a fandom in a way. Like people will end up being abnormally nice to them, or they can get away with a lot of things. These are people that can kind of like slip through the cracks with major situations because of their ability to just kind of like charm their way out of things. I've noticed that people with Lilith in their first house can arouse a lot of envy and a lot of jealousy just by existing. That is another thing that they may have to deal with as well too. I would say that it's like a lifelong thing, and a lot of the times I've noticed by like around the age of 50, or around the age of like your Chiron return, when you genuinely just kind of stop giving a shit about all of your past woundings, is usually when you become a lot more comfortable. And these are the kind of people that you will see in like, you know, sex therapy, or, you know, some sort of tantric kind of spiritual transcendental genital region situations, because of their ability to be comfortable with exerting and expressing their power and helping others exert and express their power. Now, I'm not saying that, like, you know, they can't achieve this before the age of 50, but they have to really consciously choose to, you know, focus on their own healing. And yeah, so I'm probably gonna fucking refilm this, but at least I got something done and we can play around with it.